Hey, Matt here. Killer Kyle. Welcome to Fury. And we're back for part 2. This is me, Matt, and Killer Kyle.
Buddy.
We're talking about top 10 favorite TV shows,
Aye.
past or present. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're still watching it. However, it means that they were our favorite shows in the past.
Yeah.
And we really enjoyed watching it. And of course, most of the series that we watched,
Yes.
like all the way through. So that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Number 5.
so this show is another cartoon that was a comic book, a Marvel comic book, and it started in the early 90s and lasted till probably, no, it lasted for a long time. And then it kind of went to other shows. Anyways, X-Men.
Yes.
So this show definitely was one of those serious cartoons. Like, you saw a lot of cartoons that were funny and silly and, well, cartoonish, but X-Men was like another one of those superhero shows that was made for older kids. And
Yeah.
it was a lot more mature. It didn't talk down to you.
Yeah.
And you had like shows about racism and death and this kind of interesting, because you had mutants that were looked down upon. They were mutants.
Yeah.
By like humans, so it was weird, and that's just the way it was. But you had Wolverine, who was one of my favorite characters, and then you had Professor X, who was like the head guy that basically was like the headmaster, I guess.
Yeah.
And then of course, so Wolverine, Cyclops, Rogue, Jean Grey, and
Yeah.
I think in one of I can't remember how many episodes in, but Jubilee, and then of course Storm.
Yes.
So it was pretty cool also to see the backstory to like Storm, and you had a backstory with Rogue and everybody else.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty good show, You also had like this green pterodactyl called Zoran, and you had Sabretooth, and you had Omega Red, who was this big red and white Russian guy, who was also those two, Sabretooth and Omega Red, basically feuded with Wolverine. But when that show ended, it eventually went to X-Men Evolution, which was like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then you had Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah. Like, the interesting thing about it is, like, okay, yeah, you got X-Men, and then you got Evolution, and then you got Wolverine and the X-Men. And then movies may have been different from, like, the TV show, but
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Well, the first movie started in 2000, I think.
right.
I could be wrong. I saw that in theater. That was pretty okay. Like, they didn't necessarily follow the formula to the cartoon.
Right.
So, I mean, there was bits and pieces of it, but it was weird. That's
Yeah.
what it was. But what's interesting, though, is you had Wolverine when they first did, I think, one or two episodes anyway. Wolverine was played with an Australian accent.
Yeah.
Or maybe the actor was Australian, I don't even know, but it's funny to look back and then you see in the movies, you've got Hugh Jackman playing, I guess, a Canadian tough guy.
Yeah.
But I think there was a magazine or a book that my brother had in the 90s, and it was looking at, like, I didn't know if they were going to be doing a movie, a live action X-Men. That never happened.
Right.
But there were pictures of, like, actors that could probably, be in the movie. And Patrick Stewart was Professor Xavier.
Yes.
So, years later, just seeing Patrick Stewart and Ian McGregor on that show,
Yeah.
or movie, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ian McGregor as Magneto.
Right. Yes. I'm sure that would have been a very interesting TV show. One thing that I remember, I never read the comic books, but I saw basically what Wolverine looked like, and it was basically like he was in like a yellow and blue or black, whatever, like suit of some kind or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that really bothered me about the movies, is that he didn't have the traditional gold and black suit.
Yeah.
And it was more or less like he had different costumes. Like he had like I don't even know what kind of jacket that's called. It's like brown with the fuzzy, but
Like a aviator jacket.
aviator jacket. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
They have different toys too. Like there was the Wolverine that was yellow and black, the Wolverine with the aviator jacket, and there was a Wolverine that was like naked. Well, he had like.
Topless.
Yeah, he was topless. It was basically the episode where he's in that tank, and they want to get rid of the adamantium that he has.
Yes.
So there's that, and there was Scott who was Cyclops, and then of course Logan who was Wolverine, and they both had a thing for Jean Grey. So
Yes.
there's a love triangle there. Rogue and Gambit were an item, and
Yeah.
Gambit, the guy with the leather jacket and that head thing, and he threw cards and shit.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember him in any movies. I don't know if he was
Yeah.
in any of them.
I don't think so.
But then he had, of course, Morph, who had died early on in the series. And then, there was Colossus, the big Russian gray guy that also fought with Omega Red.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different cool shit. It was a good show for its time, and it talked about the prejudice and everything else with mutants and humans.
Yeah. Couple things about the movies though is I think it was the second one you had Kelsey Grammer play
Beast.
Beast, and then you had Alan
Rebka? Or... No.
play the blue guy. I can't remember the character's name.
Beast?
No, not Beast. It was like
Oh, Nightcrawler.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Alan something or other.
Yeah.
Seeing as we went on kind of a food kick for a little bit talking about Kids Bacon Championship. Let's go on to do another Food Network show. This is a show that I'm pretty sure I've seen from the beginning. I've watched it, I know you watched it, we've watched some episodes together. It's a very good show, it's a very entertaining show, and you can learn some things that you may not have known about before, and even like see restaurants and places that you may not have known existed.
Yeah.
Diners, drive-ins, and
Yes.
dives.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Guy Fieri is definitely one of those guys that has that charismatic rock and roll type party animal gimmicks there, I guess. But he's a really good host.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you look at all the episodes that he's done, all the shows that he's done,
Yeah.
you have this guy go all across America. I don't know. I think he did, as I can remember, at least one episode in Toronto.
I think so, yeah.
So I'm not even sure where else in Canada he's been.
He's been to Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's interesting watching a lot of restaurants where he goes and he makes a lot of really good food and just like watches how it's done. And
Yeah.
one of the few people that I know that doesn't like eggs.
Yes.
Like he never will have anything with eggs on it.
No.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good show,
Oh, yeah.
and some of the dishes that I've seen, I wish I could try.
Oh, I know,
And I
right?
know there's restaurants in Peterborough that we have to look for
Yes.
that probably have what they have on the show.
Yeah.
There was one episode where he was in, I don't know what kind of restaurant. I don't want to say Albanian. It was some kind of European restaurant, and they
Right.
they punked him.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
Yeah. She pretended to have an accent, and her dad and her were having a big old argument, and it was basically, well, she was born in America.
Yeah,
So-
the guy goes into this restaurant. And he's talking with the girl, and she's speaking English, but with like a Middle Eastern accent or whatever. And then the father comes in, and he's talking to the girl, his daughter, and he's speaking whatever language it is, and she's
Yeah.
answering them, and you know the father's all pissed off, and I guess
Yeah.
you know should be giving away the family recipes and whatever, and the producer or whatever it was is trying to talk to the father and calm him down, and this goes on for a few minutes, and then goes back to Guy and her, and she instantly switches to talking without an accent.
Yeah.
He's like, "Wait, didn't you?" And then he finds out that they got him, and he's like, "You sneaky people! How
Yeah.
dead person, dead." Oh, they got one over on him so good.
Yeah. I mean, this guy definitely has a lot of interesting lingo on the show. Like,
Yeah,
Out of Bounds, Mrs. Rockstar.
out of bounds and money.
Yeah, that's money.
Yeah.
I basically took that for our show. But anyways, yeah, so I mean, there's another guy with a lot of other shows. Like you got Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dive, and you got Guy's Grocery Money,
Guys grocery games.
yes, and then of course
Then you
his,
had Guy's Big Bite.
yeah, which he's representing my face.
Yeah.
Big old ranch and
Oh,
German Shepherd and this big fucking kitchen outside. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, you've got money, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I find really neat about the show is like he'll go to certain places and like let's say the people that run the restaurant, hire ex-convicts or people that have been to jail and try to give them a second chance and all this other stuff. Or he'll go to a restaurant. The restaurant will have gotten started by like let's say a grandfather, let's say.
Yeah.
And this restaurant is still in business and it's being carried on by other family members like the grandson or father, son or whatever. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think what I like about Guy as well is he's got this tough guy persona, the tattoos, and he's actually got quite the heart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, someone that rich, I think he'd be an asshole, but no, he's got a lot of heart.
Oh yeah. And that car he drives, ooh,
Well, yeah.
thing of beauty. And there's been a few cars that he's driven on the show, and it's like, damn, those are sweet looking cars.
Number 4.
So we're talking about food. Let's keep it on with the theme. So last year, around this time, well, it'll be next month, I was in the hospital. I had my shunt revision. And I remember sitting in bed, and I was like, kind of, in and out, whatever. Like I don't even know how to describe it anyways, but
Yeah.
I didn't have my glasses on, but I could see the TV. And anyhow, I skimmed through it, and there's a show called Fish the Dish.
Yes.
So I watched a lot of it. Like it was like a marathon, and
Yeah.
I was kept like, "Oh man, it's time. You should go to bed, Matt. You should go to bed. You didn't sleep. No, one more." So I ended up watching a whole few episodes they had, but this guy definitely was very energetic, and
Yes.
Spencer definitely.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, because I didn't have my glasses on, and I'm watching the TV, I'm like, holy shit, when did Stephen Page have another show?
Yeah.
Well, Stephen Page from the Bare Naked Ladies, but you have this guy. It's kind of like, it's just another cooking show, basically. This guy's on the east coast of Canada, and there's a lot of episodes where he's cooking with, like pick a topic,
Yeah.
He does a show about salty fish, so he'll do recipes with salt. There's a show about pepper, so he'll do shows about peppers, like, red peppers, green pepper. Well, I didn't even know if he did green peppers. Definitely black pepper.
Yeah.
There's a show about nuts, so I avoid that altogether. But it's a very good show, and I remember watching it in the hospital and salivating on some of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But now, that I can watch it now here on my PVR and relive some of the episodes, it's like, yeah, A, it would be expensive, but B, it would be fucking delicious.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Basically, the concept of the show, I watched it myself, is he will make three or four different recipes involving fish or a crustacean of some kind or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, I'm gonna cook with sea bass and make it deep fried for like fish and chips. Or I'm gonna use red snapper and do a papillote to cook it in like paper bag or paper pouch, or
Yeah.
do like a Pacific lobster, make lobster mac and cheese, and various other things. It's actually like, I think a lot of people commonly might think that fish is specifically used for fish and chips, but that's not the case at all. Fish is very versatile, and because there's so many different species of fish, there's so many different recipes you can do with fish, and they can be something light, it can be something spicy, it can be something deep fried, it can be hell, they can do a paella
Yeah.
or a
He did a calzone once.
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, he did. It was. I had thought because I saw it in the hospital. So I, for some reason, thought it was red snapper and ricotta, but it ended up being not perch. I think it might have been bass or something. No, not even bass. It was some type of whitefish.
Right.
So he made like a ricotta and whatever the hell that fish was,
Right.
and then made it into a calzone. He's made dumplings. He's made a lot of pasta dishes as well. He's made just everything. Like he made, and I wish I could try this, but I don't know how expensive that would be through the fucking roof. Escargot.
Oh yeah, that'd probably be pretty expensive.
But the way he made it, look, it was just great. It was a show about garlic, and I'm mad about garlic, so yeah, it was just I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Another show that I really got into that I haven't seen in a while. I'm not even sure what the host is doing nowadays. Maybe just like running a restaurant and spending time with family and maybe doing stuff online or whatever. But it was a really good show, and it's kind of unfortunate it's not on anymore. It was called Christine Cushing Live.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I used to watch that show too. I didn't watch a lot of it, but yeah, I do remember that show.
Yeah. It was a really good show too, and it was basically like she would do. The episode would be dedicated to maybe one specific topic or various different topics and recipes and all this other stuff. There was one particular episode I saw where she was like cooking with kids, and she made like a pudding or something, or ice cream sundae, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And she had one of those siphons, the canisters where you put the like heavy whipping cream in, and then like the little cartridge of like CO2. And so she has that, it's charged, and there's like heavy cream in it, or like whipping cream, and shakes it up and whatever, and then goes to put it on one of the kids, like Sundays or whatever, and something happens where like it comes out quickly or whatever, and it gets all over the kid's face, and of course she's pissing herself laughing, and just like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened and whatever. But she's trying to end the show, but she's laughing so goddamn hard she can't. She's having a hard time ending the show, and it's like, wow, that's funny.
I do remember the name, and I did watch a few episodes, but I have to like fucking put the face to the name.
She had kind of like this length, dark hair. I would say probably 30s to 40s. I think she was maybe Greek, and had the like, she liked cooking with wine, and she's a very slender lady.
It doesn't really help me, bud. So anyway,
Number 2.
my next show was actually, yeah, I think I talked about this show last year. I'm not sure. See, what we could have done was watch the first show we did.
Yeah.
But My Wife and Kids.
Oh, yes.
Now you have Damon Wayans on the show. Of course, I'm a huge fan of In Living Color. I did talk about that last year.
Yes.
And then you've got Tisha Campbell Martin, who played in Martin. And then a bunch of other shows. And they have 3 kids. And it was a pretty interesting show.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, Damon's a funny guy, so he's going to be cracking jokes and shit. But it was also like, it's just about life.
Yeah.
And the guy who played Junior, this was basically, apparently, centered around Damon Jr. Because the guy who plays Michael Jr. again impregnates a girl, they have a kid, and then, Michael's gonna kick him out, and then eventually that doesn't happen, and they live in a garage, and it's a really good show, and it's obviously got its serious moments as much as it does its funny moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching that show. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Very enlightening at points.
Yeah, and it's like, I wouldn't know if my parents would do the same thing as Michael would.
Yeah.
But, the actress who played one of the kids, shit. I want to say Claire. I think it was Claire. Basically changed actresses after the first season.
Right.
So, that's just a, useless fact. But, yeah, so, I mean, it was a really good show, and it lasted for, and I don't think it lasted for 10 seasons, but, yeah, it was awesome. And I think that, Keenan Ivory Wayans directed the show. He even appeared on the show. You had a few other guest stars on there. One of the stars from In Living Color did an appearance on that show. The token white girl. And then you had Betty White did an episode. Yeah, it was a really fun show. And yeah, that's all I could say.
I'm gonna go with a show that I really liked. It was a good show. It was not your traditional show, but it was a show that you could watch, you could be interested in, you could really follow along and just get into it. And it was kind of an educational show, but it was one of those things where it was kind of meant for kids, and it was also hosted by kids. I think maybe we've talked about the show before. I think you've seen it. Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm really gonna have to put you on the wet shit after this. I mean, it was on, after school, so...
Yeah.
I was in the 9th grade when it came back on, because it was a show in the 70s that got remade in 99, so...
Yeah.
You're really killing me.
You're killing me, man. God, you're killing me.
Well, I mean, it's a show for little kids, but, I mean, you were 10, so you would actually watch that show. I was already in the 9th grade, like I said, so it wasn't like, Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't watch all of it, obviously.
Yeah,
Just a few interesting parts.
yeah,
But it was, again, interesting to see kids. Like, and when I look back at it, it was almost like how to be a babysitter, basically. Because they were doing crafts and making, like, well, food,
yeah.
shit like that. So, and they played games and science and all that.
Yeah. And like a lot of times at the end of the show, they would have like bloopers and things that happened while they were filming the episode, but they cut out, but they show it anyways, like the end of the shows. And a lot of those things were actually quite funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, and then you had, through the years, the cast would change
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that, so. And they did an episode for 9/11
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so. Yeah. Well, you're finding out a lot about me, so. So this show happened in 2010, and I don't know, it was 2008. It was an idea of Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff,
Oh yeah.
and Jimmy Hart was there, obviously. It was Celebrity Wrestling Championships.
Yeah.
And you had, like, Danny Bonaducci was there, obviously,
Yeah.
and Butterbean, and Tiffany, I think. There was a bunch of others. Todd Bridges was on there.
Yeah.
It was really cool because you got to see them, like, do promos and work on their skills, and they did that, and they had, like, made up their own persona, but they had, like, wrestling skills, and they could go into the ring, and you got to see them actually body slam. But what was also really cool was kind of like they would have arguments, obviously, because at least two of them were child actors. But
Yeah.
what was cool about that is they would resolve it in the ring.
Oh yeah.
Like that Danny Bonaducci, and I think it was Butterbean. No, it was probably Todd Bridges, something like that. They did a hardcore match. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I saw that show. It only lasted, I think, 2 seasons or something like that,
Yeah.
maybe one. But in that grouping with like Danny Bonaducci and Todd Bridges and Butterbean, it was either that grouping or another grouping. Well, there was Dustin Diamond as well
Oh, yes.
on the show.
That's the one that Danny Bonaducci beat the shit out of.
Right.
And you had, also Brutus Beefcake was there, did a few episodes. Rob Van Dam,
Yes.
Brian Knobs,
Yes.
Hogan's Posse. But
Yeah.
it was a good show, and like I said, and we're wrestling fans. I really enjoyed it, even though some of it was a little bit bad, I
Yeah.
guess, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah. I remember watching the episode with Rob Van Dam and he's like going over finishers, and of course Rob's talking about the 5-star frog splash, and of course he actually does it, and just watching all these celebrities be like little kids just in awe, watching this guy leap off the top rope through the air and splashing his opponent. Like, I've seen Rob do that move for years, and yes, it's amazing, but it's one of those things where I guess if you see it enough times, yeah, you go, oh, that's so cool, but at the same time, it's kind of the nostalgia wears off.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was also ring psychology. Like,
True.
he would go up on the top rope and then look to the crowd. It's like, looking for support or something like that. And for the fans to cheer, I guess, and then he would do the frog splash.
And then sell that your heart a little bit, your
Yeah.
abdomen or whatever, and then go for the pin.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And like, I'm not sure where exactly they had this like training session, you could say, or whatever, but you got some pretty good height in that frog splash, and it was not really a low ceiling, but like low enough.
Yeah.
And for him to get the right height on the frog splash and like not crash and burn, so to speak, that's just, you could say, the athleticism of Rob Van Dam, just how goddamn good he is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And why he's been doing it now for the last, I'll say, at least 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty good show. Yeah. And of course, I mean, I still can't stop thinking about that match with Bonaducci and Diamond.
Oh, man. I'm sure it was a real ass kicking.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Dustin. Anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot of shows on TV. I haven't really gotten into them, and I don't think I ever will. But it's one of those things where you look at it and you kind of go, okay, why would anyone be interested in watching a show like this? But at the same time, it's like a lot of the shit you see on this show is like, holy fuck, that actually happened in real life.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, well, there's a couple of shows that you look at and go, okay, these people are actually stupid enough to try and pull off something so ridiculous. But one of the shows that I've seen advertisements for on TV, I mean, it seems like it would be a good show. Will I ever get into it? I doubt it. But it's called, I think it's just called Highway 401, where it's like Toronto area and the highway
Huh.
and like a truck may have gone off the road and they gotta like send in a tow truck to get it back on the road or upright it, or an accident with a car or a couple of cars and all this other stuff. I mean, if you're into it, fine, but it's one of those things for me where it's like, yeah, okay, it's a show about people that basically rescue drivers that have gone off the road on the highway in like the winter time. Or maybe it's called Rescue 401, something like that. And then you get into shows like Border Patrol,
Okay.
where it's like at the airport and people will go up through customs and they'll get their bag checked and they'll question the people, and a lot of times there is a lot of strange stuff found in people's bags, but it's also times where people will see if they can sneak certain things past security, you can say, at an airport, like
Yeah.
drugs or a firearm of some kind, and it's like, really? Are you that stupid?
Yeah, some people are.
Like, okay, I believe if you go to, like, the police station and you say, hey, I want to have this firearm with me when I travel to wherever, and I want to put it in my suitcase or carry on, whatever. You can. There's like a whole process you can go through to make sure your firearm gets through customs safely or whatever. But there's been so many times, like, I never, and that's another show I never really got into. And, like, I did watch a little bit of it, and it's like, some people just can be just so stupid.
No.
Honest to God.
I agree.